Alright, so good morning. I don't know if there will be a trade for me today because CPI made a very large range, and if I have to give my bias, which isn't part of the model, but I would want to continue going higher, at least for the next couple days. That's sort of like a daily bias. So we've already kind of made a move higher. We don't have to maybe continue trading immediately higher, but we could move back into this range, and that would be my model. We're above midnight open, so I would be looking for shorts. But first, I need a 5-minute short-term high to get ran out. And it's possible we don't come out and run out one of these. But we'll see what the 9:30 opening is wanting to do. Also need to take this out. There you go. In the meantime, I'm just going to be studying. Alright, so we're making a small move higher. And technically, if we get above this short-term high and then we get displacement lower, that would be my model. So we've had the 5-minute short-term high. And now we just need displacement. The stop would be too big, so I won't take this. Also, one thing is one of my rules. Post if there's high impact news 8:30, post 9 a.m. The range, it needs to be less than 120 points, and we're just about at 120 points, so it's a little like it's just about there. And one thing I'm doing just every day, I'm just kind of logging which days have the high impact news and how big the ranges are for each hour, so I have an understanding of the proper conditions to trade. I might be in a better position to actually have a better displacement. Why is gold going down like that? Well, I called a hamster. Oh, it's a mouse. In my fucking room, we have these mouse traps because they're in the roof. It's been waking me up for the past week because I had to start sleeping upstairs. And this morning I come into my room, which I guess is my office now, and there's a big, like, fur ball tucked into the trap, just chilling. I was so happy. I grabbed this high. Now at this point, honestly, if you ask me outside of my model, I think we're just going to continue going higher. That's what I would want to happen because, well, I can talk a lot about the news. You know, yesterday PPI kind of shocked people. The year over year was, no, not that one. Okay, we can look at it year over year, yeah. Well, the year over year, there was a slowdown. They forecasted it to increase, and it didn't increase as much as they were looking for, and the month over month fell quite, a lot more than they forecasted. So there's a bit of a slowdown, and today they kind of confirmed with the inflation report. As you can see, year over year. Well, no, not that one. That's the core inflation. I don't know I forgot what the difference is. But point is, I think that there's an expectation for higher inflation. And no, wait, it's not that there was a slowdown. Sorry, there was a ramp up. Yeah, my bad. There was a ramp up. So now inflation is going back up again. Stocks are really starting to just shoot up. The unemployment rate also fell. So the economy is sort of starting to get back into, and then with tariffs coming around, there's a lot of expectation for higher inflation. So this is why, like, a lot of these asset prices are rising right now. But I'm pretty bullish for the for quite a bit. When tariffs come in, it's a different story then. But the anticipation of tariffs is certainly making asset prices inflate. And then, well, when tariffs come, it's a different story. We have to see how that plays out. But let's see if we get displacement lower instead of continuing just ramping up higher. I'd want this fair value gap to stay open if we're going to continue going higher. And we'd form a 5-minute fair value gap, which will stay open if we continue going higher. But if we close all this in, we really displace lower, then I'll short, according to my model. I silence my Chromebook? I'm trying to think of this one news. I forgot what it was called. Whatever. Yeah, let's see if we close through this entirely. Oh, wait a minute, I just realized we made a range of 160 points, which is against my rules to trade. So I cannot trade, actually. One of my rules is basically if any range is formed after 7 a.m. of 125 points or more, I cannot trade. And that might change because there's a lot more volatility now, so I will be changing it maybe every like month or so. But also, another rule is if we have 8:30 news, I change the rule to be after 9 a.m. So after 9 a.m., I look for a range. I'm still gonna paper it, but after 9 a.m., basically I just look for a range of anything above 120 points, and I don't trade. So what I am essentially doing is I'm tracking each hour of the day, well, the important hours of the day, how big they are to get an average. Then I'm also going to be I'm logging every trade, whether I take it or not. The good trades. So let's sell here. Actually, I would have wanted to sell a little earlier. Let me actually. Sorry, a little later, my bad, because then the stop is a little bit better. There you go. It's just a paper trade. And then we'd have to go. We'd have to go 1.5 R like that. So this short term low, 42 points. My expectation for this working isn't as high because of the range we created, so we did leave this 5-minute fair value gap open here. So I mean, there's not really much. Again, my bias is still higher. Like, I do think we're probably going to go higher. I wouldn't want this to work, but it is my model, so I'm taking it anyway. And yeah, so every day I'm kind of collecting data. I'm going back and I'm looking, okay, this morning in the hour and a half that I can trade, was my model there? Like, was it present? If it is present, it's not an hour and a half, it's like 2 hours I can trade. The 2 hours I can trade, was the model present? Did it win or did it lose? How many times was it present? And I just log all that. Whether I take it or not, then I can look back and see, okay, can I change the rules so that the win rate is a little bit better? Some of the losses, what can I do to prevent that? Is there anything I can do? And simply, that's just what I do. As for this, you know, it's not really looking like it's going to work. We've closed up above this fair value gap. So, oops. So, I would have had to take it though anyway. If the range would have been less than 120 points, I would not have been discretionary and said, oh, I'm not going to take it. Because the thing is, and maybe eventually I can get to that point where even though I see my rules and my model and everything lines up and it's perfect, but then I know that price is going to go higher. Like today, I know the bias is likely it's going to go higher. And then I think even though the trade is there, the rules are there, the model's there, I think it's still going to lose, therefore I'm not going to take it. So yeah, maybe eventually I can get to that point, but I think it's important to build up to that, because right now I have a lot on my plate in my life, and it's way simpler when I have just something that's straightforward approach. You do this and that, and it's strictly a set of rules to adhere to, with certain conditions that need to be met in order to take a trade. That way, it's a lot easier on my mentality. There's a lot less I need to worry about, and so I don't want to worry about, okay, whether I should follow my rules or just not trade. I'm just gonna follow my rules regardless. And there you go, it didn't work. So that would have been a trade that just didn't work. Again, rules very simple. Midnight open. For above midnight open, after 9:30, first 5 minute short term high to get hit, then you short displacement. And this wasn't really the best displacement, because again, there's just so much open area on that 5 minute chart. Compare it to yesterday's trade right here, and you can see that this displacement is obviously a lot. Alright, let's see the trade. I shorted right there and down here. But I mean, this displacement is obviously a lot bigger than, and you could have shorted again back here. I mean, from this high down to this low, there's a lot more displacement closing up all these fair value gaps than just there was today. And we're probably just going to continue climbing higher slowly for the rest of the day is what I would want to happen. But anyways, that's it.